Hi everyone, I am Katarina for the Wow Embossing YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today while I share with you how I made these oval shaped Christmas cards using pink tones and lots of sparkle. So starting with some oval die set that I had in my stash, with the largest one I've die cut 2 from white card. I've cut a smidge away from the bottom of one, and then butting that against the straight edge of my scoreboard, I scored about 1.5-inch hinge on the top in there, which I covered in glue, and that's what I'm using to adhere my card front to. So this is how I created my oval shaped card piece today. Then I die cut a slightly smaller pink oval, and then one size smaller pattern paper, which is from the Christmas flowers and foliage paper pad from Chloe's Creative Cards, and then a couple slices smaller pink oval again, and one size smaller white. I'm starting with decorating the edges of both of my pink oval die cuts by dragging my fine tip glue bottle all along the edges. The glue I'm using is what goes on white, but it will dry completely clear. So once I cover it in my Sparkling Sugar Sparkles by Wow, and once the glue dries clear, it will leave me with the most gorgeous sparkle along the edges of both of these cardstock pieces. So I'm repeating the same on the smaller oval. And then with the patterned oval, similarly to the previous two, I'm going to drag my glue bottle all along the edge. But this time I'm going to smudge the glue line and down. I don't want it to be a thick line in there surrounding my oval, because this time I'm not going to use the glitter with the chunky pieces in it. I'm going to use the super fine white biodegradable glitter from the Earth Sparkles range, and this will give me a much subtler sparkle and shine, but it will look so lovely against the pink ones that we already edged up with the chunky glitter. The stamp I'm using here is from Chloe's Creative Cards, and it's called Falling Sparkles. I loaded it up with my ink from the Wow Embossing ink pad and stamping it onto the smallest of the ovals that I have. I am using pink sapphire embossing powder on this, and it will give me that lovely pink glow that I'm looking for, and I will show you a little close-up just in a little second of how gorgeous that really is. And it is lovely and shiny, but of course I want it to be sparkly as well. So I'm following just those lines and the sparkles on them to add dots of that dry clear glue again, and I'm going to cover this in the same glitter I used earlier on. It is the Sparkling Sugar. Once the glue dries back clear, it will leave me with some gorgeous sparkle all over my design. To create my Christmas flowers, I've taken the dies from the beautiful Bouquet Christmas Flower Stamp and Die set, and I'm only using the dies today. I've die cut them from white pearlescent card, and I'm bringing out a trio in here. This is the Ice Crystals trio, which is blue ice, white ice, and pink ice. But I'm only going to use the pink one today. And I've created a few swatches so I can show you how gorgeous this embossing powder is. It has that large, sparkly silver bits in it. And this one is on a white card in here. So you can see that frosty, icy looking pink in there, having all those lovely silvery bits in it. Now, but when I heat embossed it on a piece of dark pink card, you can see the dark pink showing through in areas where there would be translucent bits in the powder itself. Using it on this corally one, it will look pretty similar to the white one, but it is a bit darker, so you can see that corally coming through it a little bit in there. So again, another way of using this gorgeous powder. And now, similarly to that dark one, this one I inked up using the Festive Berries Distress Oxiding, and I heat embossed on top of that. So you can see those festive berries popping through in those areas where the powder was translucent. It is so gorgeous. And the last option is the one that I picked for my flowers today. So die cut from white pearlescent card, I'm going to ink them up with the Festive Berries Distress Oxiding. I used pearlescent card because the pearlescent coating on it keeps the ink just damp, just that little bit much longer. So it will have time to grab onto that embossing powder until I heat set it, and then the bond will be permanent. Now I will heat set it from underneath. I don't want to blow any of those larger bits away. But you will see the gorgeous color change in here, how it turns that icy, frosty kind of pink in there, and I just absolutely love it. While the petals are still warm, not hot, I'm just giving them a second, they are still warm, I'm bending them downwards. That will prevent any kind of a cracking, but they will cool out in the shape that you've created by bending those petals a bit. Off camera, I've created 2 more exactly the same, and I am using my quick grab glue, and then I'm going to hold it down with my tweezers to make sure that the glue sets properly. And then there's 2 of those flowers, one which I created with the larger dies, one with the slightly smaller ones from the set. To add some foliage to my flowers, I've taken the holly leaves from the winter foliage die set from Sizzix and the fern leaf from the Christmas rose and foliage die set by Hunky Dory Moonstone. I've die cut them from teal card. This is the same card, one side is lighter, the other one is darker. The ferns I'm just going to leave as they are, but the holly leaves I'm going to add some sparkle texture to by dipping them into my wow embossing pad and sprinkling clear sparkle embossing glitter on them, then heat setting. This is not going to change the color on them much, but will add some gorgeous sparkly texture to them, which I absolutely love. And this one being a Christmas card, it just gives me an extra reason if I needed one to add all that extra sparkle. So I'm starting to assemble my card in here. All the glitter around the edges of my ovals is dry, so I'm using my Collal all-purpose glue to layer up the pink and the patterned one onto the card base. Then I'm going to layer the white one which we stamped and heat embossed onto the smaller oval, and then I'm going to pop this up on foam pads. I do love to add dimension to my cards, and then I will reinforce my foam pads with some liquid glue, not only for extra strength, but also it will leave me a little bit of a wiggle room to make sure that I can get it properly in place in there. For a sentiment from the Sparkle Sentiment Builder Stamp and Die Set by Chloe's Creative Cards, I took the dies that spells out sparkle with the background to it, background cut out of white, the sparkle word cut out of the same pink card, and I layered them on top of each other. I took the stamp This the Season too and stamped and white heat embossed it on the same pink card as I used on the ovals in there, and I used super fine white embossing powder to this. I do recommend super fine for sentiments because it just allows you for all those lovely crisp lines to have a lovely variety. Both parts of the sentiment are popped up on foam pads, and in here I'm just doing a little dry run just to make sure that everything will look nice, and I do like this look, so this is what I'm going to stick with. To glue everything down, I mean the flowers and the foliage, I'm just going to use my hot glue. It is my preferred method. It dries quickly or sets quickly even, and it just really creates that lovely strong bond that I'm looking for, because these are quite heavy embellishments. You do want these to be nice and strongly stuck in there. Now I am adding the holly leaves as well, which are lovely and glittery. You'll see that on some close-ups just in a minute. And everything that I'm using today will be linked in the description box below if still available. To finish off my flowers, I'm just using some super blingy silver rhinestones from Chloe's Creative Cards. These are the sparklers in 2 different sizes. And then I'm just going to attach my sentiment just beside the floral arrangement in there. And this finishes my oval pink Christmas card off. Please do let me know in the comment section below. What do you think? I'd love to read your thoughts. I do love non-traditional cards and makes for Christmas. This one I definitely am in love with. And if you haven't yet done so, make sure that you do subscribe to the Wow Embossing Powders YouTube channel. There's some lovely inspiration coming up from all the other design team members as well. The talent is absolutely amazing, and you do not want to miss out on all those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with my next one. Until then, bye!